คุณผู้ชมคะประเทศสหรัฐอเมริกามีองค์กรที่ทำงานภาคประชาสังคมเป็นองค์กรที่ทำงานโดยไม่แสวงหาผลกำไรและไม่ได้ขึ้นตรงกับการเมืองอยู่หลากหลายองค์กรนะคะหนึ่งในนั้นก็คือ Eisenhower Fellowships ค่ะซึ่งดำเนินการตามอุดมการณ์ของอดีตประธานาธิบดี Eisenhower ที่ต้องการที่จะเสริมสร้างโลกใบนี้ให้มีสันติภาพมากยิ่งขึ้นผ่านเครือข่ายของผู้นำจากหลากหลายวงการซึ่งก็ได้เดินหน้ามาไม่ต่ำกว่า60ปีแล้วและแต่ละปีก็จะเชิญและได้คัดเลือกผู้นำจากหลากหลายประเทศทั่วโลกนะคะเพื่อที่จะไปพบปะกับผู้นำหลากหลายวงการที่อยู่ในสหรัฐอเมริกาถือว่าเป็นการแลกเปลี่ยนความรู้ความคิดเห็นระหว่างผู้นำในองค์กรเหล่านี้ทางประธานของ EF ซึ่งเพิ่งจะได้เดินทางมาที่ประเทศไทยนะคะและจะต้องพบปะกับบรรดาผู้นำจากหลากหลายวงการดิฉันได้มีโอกาสสัมภาษณ์พิเศษนะคะเลยได้สอบถามว่าดูแล้วลักษณะร่วมกันของความเป็นผู้นำในโลกยุคปัจจุบันที่ซับซ้อนมากยิ่งขึ้นคืออะไรคะ
The mission of the organization is really to enhance international understanding and to help create a world that's more peaceful and prosperous and just. That's a wide umbrella, but we find our leaders come from all sectors, from government, from business, from the nonprofit world, from science, health, medicine, the arts, journalists. We have journalists in almost every class. If you can generalize about such a wide, diverse range of exceptional leaders,a couple of characteristics they have in common. Increasingly, they are innovators in their field. They have a record of some sort of, at a very relatively young age, great accomplishment in innovation in a way that they've been able to better their organizations and their societies. And second, they have a deep, burning passion to give back and to help improve their societies.
Mission of Eisenhower Fellowships is to support young leaders around the world, and you see many young leaders going and visiting the United States to learn about American culture. But on the other hand, is it a kind of soft power for the U.S.to have more influential role in other countries?
I think that's how the organization was first envisioned when it was originated 62 years ago. It started as a birthday present for President Eisenhower when he took office. But as I mentioned, we're an independent organization. We're not part of the United States government. The way that the organization has evolved for them is international fellows go to the U.S. Yes, they learn about the U.S., but they have an opportunity to meet with 60, 70, 80 of the top experts in their field. And we're seeing that our international fellows impart as much knowledge to the people they meet with as they receive. Then these fellows go back to their countries, as you did coming back to Thailand, and they have a commitment to create some sort of project that has a real world impact on the ground. We have another dimension of our program as well, which I would argue is just as important, if not more important today, which is we send young ascendant American leaders overseas as well. That's our USA program. And in the 21st century, with globalization, so many international leaders already know about the United States or studied there or worked for American or Western companies. But you can argue, and I do argue, that it is just as important or more important for young American leaders to know about the world. So that program is not as big as our international program, but it's very important, and one of our strategic objectives is to grow that. Then also to bring our American fellows and our international fellows together in collaboration, because they both have much to learn from each other.
You are Hispanic, and you are rated one of the 100 most influential Hispanic in America. What is the character that have made you become leader like that in the U.S. society?
Well, that was a humbling honor. I am the son of immigrants. I am different for most recent presidents of Eisenhower Fellowships. I am the son of immigrants. My father never even finished high school. He was a very hard worker. My mother went back to school at the age of 27 with two small children in the home to get her high school degree, and then kept working and studying, and within 9 years, by the time I was 7 years old, by the time I was 16, she got her PhD, her doctorate, from one of the major, Northwestern University, a major university in the United States. Then she went on to teach for 32 years in the Chicago City Colleges. She was a teacher of Spanish. She just passed away 2 weeks ago, and so on my way here, my first stop was at a memorial service for her, and she was my hero, and she was the best leader I ever saw. And after her example, my sister and I really had no excuse. We had no excuse to fail, given her sacrifices and how hard she worked to give us a better opportunity.
So what keep you pushing? Like you said, you cannot afford to fail.
I was blessed with that gift that both of my parents gave me, of the importance of education and the importance of hard work, because my mother's first commandment was carpe diem, seize the day. Life is short and we need to fill it up, hopefully with good things. So,
With coming to Thailand, to Southeast Asia, and when we look at American politics, it seems a bit complicated. As a journalist, if you have to explain to fellow friends in Asia, how would you encapsulate politics in the U.S.?
I think we're seeing an expression in the United States in our current politics that we're seeing in other ways in other parts of the world, but it's similar. All over the world, we're seeing, I think, a diminution of respect for authority, respect for, and public respect and approval of our major institutions, of our political leaders, of our political parties. The world's problems are becoming more and more complicated and more difficult to solve. And as a result, people in my country certainly, but we're seeing it in other places too, I think have lost some faith in the ability of politicians to manage the major challenges we have these days. Ironically, technology and the rise of the digital revolution helps exacerbate this, because in a world of social media where everyone is their own publisher and their own editor, everyone is empowered, and that technology tends to flatten the world and make it less hierarchical. So I think you're seeing the candidates, especially in the opposition party, the ones who are the most popular right now are the ones who are the least orthodox and the most who are successful at portraying themselves as outsiders and not part of the system, whereas candidates who are very much identified with the system are not doing so well. Now, it's early, and ultimately these things sort of shake out, but I think you're seeing just a manifestation of modern trends all over the world being played out in the United States as we see in other countries.